It's fall, which, as all movie lovers know, is one of the best times to catch a flick. While summer is for big budget productions and highly anticipated sequels, the ones that will gross billions of dollars for their respective studios, the last quarter of a year is reserved for films. Yes, films. I'm talking about original ideas executed by brilliant actors and directors, movies that will earn awards in the spring or else be snubbed and find themselves in the sometimes more desirable position as a topic of reverence amongst hipsters and jaded cinephiles. Either way, these are the movies that are motivated more by prestige than money, and some people call what I'm describing as art. But don't put these movies on a pedestal quite yet, since the season's just started. But many of them look good, like really, really good. So good that they've inspired us to make a list of soon-to-be released movies that are worth checking out. I'm Tom from Screen On Point, and this is 10 most anticipated movies to watch before the end of the year. Number 10, Mr. America. Starting things off is Mr. America, a comedy that could only really be made by Tim Heidecker. Heidecker of Tim and Eric fame plays the same fictionalized version of himself that he's played in so many bizarre television shows, podcasts, short films, and movie reviews, as well as a 5-hour-long mock trial that you can actually find on YouTube. This time, it's a mock political campaign that Heidecker throws himself into. After beating a murder charge, Tim the movie reviewer, with the help of his colleague, a fictionalized version of alternative comic Greg Turkington, attempts to become the district attorney of San Bernardino, California. The catch is, he's neither an attorney or resident of San Bernardino, California. For fans of Heidecker's comedy, Mr. America should affirm his status as a comedic weirdo genius. For those of you unfamiliar with Heidecker, watching this film might send you down an absurdist comedy rabbit hole which there is no escape. Number 9, Dr. Sleep. Dr. Sleep is the only sequel on this list. This means that it's not just any sequel, it's the 4 decades in the making epilogue to arguably the greatest horror movie ever made. Adapted from the 2013 Stephen King novel Dr. Sleep, stars Ewan McGregor as a grown Danny Torrance, the boy with the psychic power for which The Shining was named. Danny, now a troubled alcoholic like his father, meets a teenage girl with the same power who is being hunted by a cult which harvests the shine as an elixir for immortality. Danny thus helps the girl and confronts his own past in the process. Dr. Sleep is directed by Mike Flanagan, known for acclaimed horrors like Oculus, Gerald's Game, and The Haunting of Hill House, so the film's in capable hands. However, Kubrick's masterpiece will be looming over the release, skewing reception more negatively than it's probably deserved. Still, Dr. Sleep should be a well-acted and well-directed mainstream horror, a rarity that is always welcomed. Number 8, In Fabric. Now, for a horror movie that's anything but mainstream. Produced by independent studio A24, In Fabric looks to be another bright spot on the studio's already growing resume. The film stars Marianne Jean-Baptiste as Sheila, a recently divorced woman who buys a red dress from a mysterious London department store. The dress is supposed to bring Sheila the confidence to start her life anew. Instead, it brings her supernatural evil. Of course it does. Don't be surprised that a movie about a haunted dress is one of the most talked about new releases in the horror canon. Because of its bright colours, feminine themes, sly humour, and psychological suspense, In Fabric has been compared to Suspiria and other works by horror legend Dario Argento. This comparison is never made lightly. In Fabric will surely live up to its low-key hype. Am I jinxing it already by saying cult classic? Number 7, Marriage Story. Most of what you need to know about Marriage Story you won't find in the title. True, it is a story about marriage and the trials and tribulations that come with the most sacred union, and if this were any other movie, such a concept would sound trite and overdone. However, Marriage Story is written and directed by one of the most thoughtful minds in the industry and features powerhouse performances by 2 of Hollywood's best young actors. These are the reasons why, at the time of writing this list, Marriage Story has a 100% approval rating on Rotten Tomatoes. Adam Driver and Scarlett Johansson are the husband and wife tasked with saving their marriage and their child's future in this Noah Baumbach movie. Baumbach, if you don't know already, achieved fame for co-writing the Wes Anderson films The Life Aquatic with Steve Zissou and Fantastic Mr. Fox, and directing his own films The Squid and the Whale and Frances Ha. Since Baumbach writes his characters like people he loves, Marriage Story will be real, perhaps to a devastating degree. but a story about a complex relationship should not be treated in any other way. Number 6, Joker. There is no movie with more hype around it than Joker, which is why I'm tempering my enthusiasm. Don't get me wrong, Joker will be solid, but how solid is the question. This avant-garde origin story of the comic world's greatest supervillain will no doubt feature a tremendous performance by Joaquin Phoenix, one that could rival Heath Ledger's, and its intimacy, grittiness, and R rating will strike a nice contrast to the epic, colourful, sentimental superhero movies of the past few years, but because of its similarities to Scorsese's classics The King of Comedy and Taxi Driver and misunderstood loner cinema in general, I fear that the film might be a little derivative, but I hope I'm wrong. I hope Joker doesn't butcher Taxi Driver, but becomes a new Taxi Driver for a generation of moviegoers who not only haven't seen Taxi Driver, but haven't even heard of it. Outcasts of all generations need representation, but what we don't need is another John Hinckley Jr., this time wearing clown makeup. Number 5, Uncut Gems. The Safdie brothers are filmmaking's fastest rising stars, and their new movie, Uncut Gems, might be their perfectly cut gem. This film, about a New York City diamond dealer who gets embroiled in a scandal with his high-profile clients, is the directing duo's third major feature after 2014's Heaven Knows What and 2017's Good Time. If Uncut Gem is anything like its predecessors, it will be frenetic, stylish, and idiosyncratic. Conjecture aside though, the last adjective is supported by Uncut Gem's cast, which includes Adam Sandler as the jeweler, and The Weeknd, Idina Menzel, and retired NBA player Kevin Garnett in supporting roles. The other two superlatives are confirmed by critics who have praised the film for its controlled yet chaotic pacing. Justin Chang from the Los Angeles Times called it a cinematic panic attack. And as a crime thriller directed by two of the industry's most unique and respected filmmakers, and starring Adam Sandler and Kevin Garnett, it's safe to say that Uncut Gems will be unlike anything you see this year. Number 4, Parasite. This Korean film, set for an October release in the United States, exploded in popularity after it was awarded the Palme d'Or prize at the 2019 Cannes Film Festival. Not only that, it was the first film to win with unanimous votes since the 2013 French masterpiece Blue is the Warmest Color. Commended for its acting, directing, and social relevance, Parasite is a multi-layered family drama that is distinct in style but universal in theme. The movie concerns the Kim and Park families which, while vastly different from each other, come together after an unusual incident to form one of the most dysfunctional, symbiotic relationships ever portrayed on film. Parasite is written and directed by Bong Joon-ho, Korean filmmaking royalty, whose writer and director credits include Memories of Murder, The Host, and Snowpiercer. It appears that Parasite is his magnum opus. I'll let you guys be the judges of that come October or February if you live in the UK. God damn it, the UK. Number 3, The Irishman. The Irishman is Martin Scorsese's first film since 2016. It's also his first and so far only film to be distributed by Netflix. The movie will have a limited theatrical release before dropping on the streaming platform on November 27th, but more impressive than those two milestones, however, is that The Irishman is the first Scorsese film to star both Robert De Niro and Al Pacino. But the milestones don't end there. The Irishman is the first Scorsese-De Niro feature film collaboration since 1995's Casino, which also stars the last film that De Niro and Joe Pesci appeared in together. Yes, Pesci is in this movie too. Talk about an old school mob actor reunion. Pre-release hype aside, The Irishman should be an amazing film in its own right. It chronicles decades of organised crime that preceded and succeeded the unresolved death of Labour Union leader Jimmy Hoffa. Pacino plays Hoffa while De Niro plays Frank the Irishman Sheeran, the hitman who claimed to have killed Hoffa. Along with Pesci, who plays Russell Bufalino, the former boss of the Bufalino crime family, the film's supporting cast include Harvey Keitel, Bobby Cannavale, Anna Paquin, Jesse Plemons, and Ray Romano. Everything about The Irishman sets it up for greatness. I hope it doesn't let us down. Number 2, Jojo Rabbit. Jojo Rabbit is a film that will hook you with its premise. A member of the Hitler Youth discovers that his mother is hiding a Jewish girl in their attic. Conversely, the film might lose you after you realise it's a comedy. But can I win you back again by saying that the film's director is the same one who did Flight of the Conchords, What We Do in the Shadows, Hunt for the Wilder People, and Thor Ragnarok. Taika Waititi's involvement means that Jojo Rabbit shouldn't be a lowbrow, edgy for edginess sake Nazi satire, but a carefully and cleverly directed black comedy worthy of praise. praise. The film stars Roman Griffin Davis in the title role and features Scarlett Johansson, Thomasin McKenzie, Sam Rockwell, Rebel Wilson, and Stephen Merchant. Waititi himself plays Adolf Hitler, and even if Jojo Rabbit doesn't quite hit the mark that it set out for, Waititi deserves a shout out for even attempting a Nazi satire when wokeness is stifling all comedy that isn't grossly moralistic. And number 1, The Lighthouse. In 2015, an unknown director named Robert Eggers released a horror movie that was so visually, orally, and thematically compelling that it became the standard by which modern horror, as an art form, not a trope, is measured. I'm referring to The Witch, which is about a Puritan family that is besieged by evil in the New England wilderness. And it took 4 years for Eggers to follow what he did with The Witch, and in October, movie fans will get to see this long-awaited creation. The Lighthouse, starring Robert Pattinson and Willem Dafoe, takes place on a New England island in the 1890s and concerns 2 lighthouse keepers who are unsurprisingly besieged by unknown forces. Unlike The Witch, The Lighthouse is shot in black and white, which is a stylistic choice that can only really intensify that horror. Pre-release reviews have been overwhelmingly positive, with critics praising virtually every aspect of the film. Most of us won't have to wait long to confirm or deny the critics' acclaim. Unfortunately, as part of what seems like a constant problem for British moviegoers, The Lighthouse will not actually be released in the Queen's country till January 2020. God damn it, the UK. Thanks so much to Shane Fraser for writing this list, and thanks so much to Tommy Walsh for editing it. You can go visit him at Big Beat Visual. Thanks for watching that video. Please do like and subscribe. We upload 2 tasty and tenderized videos a week to sink your teeth into, and do let us know your thoughts in the comments. Make sure to follow us at Screen On Point and Tom A. Ransom on Twitter to satisfy my narcissistic need for acceptance and love, and you make sure you have a wonderful day.